The strategy focuses on 5 things. Of course, there's the podcast. So I'm going to share with you how to design a podcast in just a bit here. But goals and objectives, why are you doing this? The episode topics, the format of the show, how you're going to brand it, and the development of the show notes. Traffic, where we're going to get the audience from. The website, of course, but more importantly, social media. More importantly, the podcasting directories, the newsletter, social sharing, and offline strategies like the flyer that we showed you with Dr. Tim. Stats, another question I get about podcasting is how do we track it? What can we track? You can track everything. You know exactly where your listeners are, how often they listen, how long they listen, to what shows they listen. You can track it all. Of course, you want to track the SEO, the number of listeners, newsletter subscribers, and more importantly, how many sales you're doing as a result. And then number 5, Harley, you might bring me some water, is KTCB, which is just a little 4-letter acronym for keep them coming back. Because one thing to get them to your website, it's one thing to get them to your show, it's a whole other strategy to keep them coming back. And we combine newsletter, podcast, and again, email. Audio is a simple solution. Thank you. So you can see in the case of Dr. Kale, all we did for him was 5 3 to 4 minute audios. That's all we did. 1 patient a month from the web up to 16. Thank you. Blair? 4 episodes, that's all we needed, 4 episodes to help him position his platform. Dr. Tim, 2 episodes a month. How long are his episodes? 15 minutes. And Matt, an ongoing weekly podcast series, very similar to myself with the Affiliate Buzz. Audio is a simple solution. You can have a weekly web radio show and podcast to position you or your corporate brand as the expert in your marketplace, to attract your ideal clients through the podcasting directories, which I'm about to talk about, build relationships with your listeners, sell more products and services, and promote and to fill up events. And I think this is the most important one, is build a loyal and trusting audience. If you have a loyal and trusting audience, your ideal clients who are listening to you and trust you, and you offer the solutions they need, they will call you. Stacy, remember this? Stacy was in the class in December of 2001 when I was teaching a class in New Westminster, when somebody emailed me and said, check this out. I clicked on the link, and that's what I landed on for the very first time. That's Google 2001. And we took off with Google. We had a run for 5 years that was just like meteoric, and which is interesting because I look at podcasting very much like that. That's where we are again. It's like if you had hindsight and you knew what you knew now, then what would you do differently? A ton. Then all of a sudden podcasting shows up. iTunes is basically the new Google, and there's hardly anybody in there compared to, say, Google. Huge opportunity. Check this out. Who's the number 1 search engine? Dumb question, right? Who's number 2? Okay, really who's number 2? YouTube. Who do you think is number 3? iTunes. 500 million people visit iTunes for music. People think of iTunes as the music store. What a lot of people don't know is there's over 1 billion podcast subscribers in iTunes. Apple put out a press release late last year that they just had their 1 billionth podcast subscriber. Here's another thing that it's conceptually hard to picture until it's pointed out. When you're looking for something online, where do you traditionally go? Google and do a search. Facebook search is horrible. You ever seen a mess in your life? But Google search is great. If you're looking for an audio or podcast, where do you go? Where's one place you could go? iTunes, and 1 billion people are subscribed to that. What's it cost to submit your show to iTunes? Nothing. Have you heard of Podbean? A lot of people haven't heard of Podbean. Most people haven't. 4.3 billion downloads, 742,000 podcasters, 2.6 million episodes downloaded 4.3 billion times. TuneIn, 50 million monthly users. iHeartRadio, my show's on iHeartRadio. If any of you were to put a show together and walk over to CKNW and say, hey, would you put my show on CKNW for free? What do you think they're going to say? But you can submit your show to iHeartRadio for free. Blog Talk Radio, another biggie. Spreaker is one of my favorite. If you're looking for a great podcasting app, download the Spreaker app or the Stitcher app. Blueberry, great WordPress plugin, free. It's called the Blueberry PowerPress plugin. How many use WordPress in the room, if I could ask? About half? What's driving this? Custom playlists. How many love to go to YouTube because you get to pick what you get to watch? I know I do. Television, Netflix, all those types of exploded. Music, same thing. We set our own custom playlists. Same goes for audio. Major trend. This is one of the reasons that podcasting has exploded on the scene, is because if it was 3 years ago and I was to say how many, don't hold up your hand, how many of you have a smartphone in your pocket? Actually do. 3 years ago, think about it though. 3 years ago, how many of you had a smartphone? 4 years ago. Okay? 5 years ago. Barely, because they really were just coming out, right? I remember the first time I saw an iPhone was at a conference in Santa Barbara, California. Somebody was, look what I got. That was about 5 years ago. Now, how many people have a smartphone? Just about everybody. And the beautiful thing about it is the podcast player built in right into it. Consuming audio is easy. Love video. I love YouTube. I go to YouTube and watch Elvis. No problem. I love YouTube. Love video. But consuming audio is different. It's easier because you can listen to it in the car while you're driving. And I listen to it when I drive. Unlike video, there's no need to watch the screen. I hear from listeners of mine, I listen to you while I'm on my run. I listen at the gym. I listen while I'm working. Another major trend, and this one's everybody that just said they got a smartphone now and didn't a few years ago. This is where you'll be in 2 to 3 years, or today if you want to be. Wi-Fi in the car. Have you seen the commercials on TV that are rolling right now? Wi-Fi in the car. It's coming on really fast. Google has founded the Open Automotive Alliance, and they've pulled together just about every major automotive brand. And they're putting Wi-Fi and what they call the Android Auto system in the cars. And they've teamed up with the major manufacturers of car stereos. Android Auto is everywhere at the North American International Auto Show 2015. Apple's CarPlay will be in more than 40 different models. You can see the podcast player? For those that have iPhones, iPhones, you can't delete the podcast player. Sorry. Android guy. For us that have maybe not be buying a brand new car right now, the aftermarket stereos and the aftermarket players are already here. This is one Arlene and I are about to buy. We have a Suzuki Grand Vitara, and that's designed for the Suzuki Grand Vitara. So if you want to have essentially an iPad or a Google Android tablet embedded in the dash of your car, that's what this is, with Wi-Fi. So I guess the question really is there a show in you? I know this is something you want to think about.
10 times your finances, 10 times your business, 10 times your marketing, 10 times your life. Hit the subscribe button now.